Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. So after making my video yesterday on tax loss harvesting being dumb, I started thinking about some others of those ridiculous financial advice tropes that you see on the internet a lot. Most of them are wrong. And, there's always don't catch a falling knife, which is really bad advice because catching the falling knife and buying assets as the price goes down through the bottom and on the way back up is how you make the most money in the long run. There's other ones, and the one I want to talk about today is the idea of house money. And you'll see this a lot of the times in discussions where, let's say, somebody has bought a particularly volatile speculative asset. And let's say they paid $1,000 for it. And we'll assume it's divisible because that's required for this analogy. And let's say that the value has now gone from $1,000 to $3,000. And so the person will somewhat smartly, it's debatable, I'd say in some cases it's smart, they will sell 1/3 of their position, thus recouping the $1,000 initial investment they made. And so now they hold 2/3 of the original position and their basis cost is zero. And then in an acknowledgement, subtly, that what they're investing in is speculative, volatile stuff, they'll say, well, now I'm just playing with house money, as if that justifies making risky bets on speculative, volatile things. And the problem here is money is fungible. That is not house money. If you buy an asset and it appreciates and you're looking at an unrealized paper gain, that's still your money. That's still your unrealized paper gain. And you need to perform proper risk assessment on it the same way you would anything else. And now that risk assessment is going to be deeply personal because risk assessment depends on your age, your occupation, how much money you make, how many other assets you have, how many dependents rely on you to eat, what your retirement goals are, everything else. And so you have to make that assessment yourself, but you don't just blindly stop making proper risk assessments because all of a sudden an asset that you're holding has gone up enough that you've sold part of it to recover all of your initial investment. The rest of that is still yours. And in this analogy where you're up by $2,000 and your basis cost is now zero, let's imagine that every 2 weeks you get $2,000 of take-home pay from your job. You go and you sacrifice 80 hours of your pathetically short life in exchange for $2,000 that you get to bring home after benefits and taxes and insurance and all the rest. Would you ever say, oh yeah, I'll just, it's okay if they don't pay me that $2,000 this week? You would never say that. But why would some people say, oh, well, it's house money. If I lose it, it's okay. That's your money. Perform proper risk assessment on it and don't do anything crazy that you wouldn't otherwise normally do with it. And you can imagine that, let's say somebody took this view their entire investing career, and let's say, in the kind of preposterous edge case, it failed every time. They bought an asset, it goes up, they sell enough to cover their basis, and then the rest of it goes to zero. Okay, let's just say they would hit retirement and the net of their investing activity would have been a 0% gain over the course of their life. No one would be happy with that. No one would be happy with, I bought an asset even one time, I tied my money up in it, I did, I reevaluated it from time to time, I watched the price, I decided when to sell, I sold at a smart time, but then I held the rest of the position way too long and it went to zero. No one would be happy with that. And so this idea that, well, it's house money, it's not mine, it's just play money, it's all extra. Stop doing that. Don't do that. You need to perform proper risk assessment and you need to do it regularly. You need to do it regularly and with the same kind of rigor and on the same criteria that you would every one of your other assets, every asset that you own, that you're invested in. And don't think of it as someone else's money because it's not. Those unrealized paper gains are yours. Thanks to everyone who makes this content possible, especially my very generous supporters on Patreon. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Final Trade.